everybody. I just wanted to make a quick tutorial for this mounts and vehicles system because there's a little bit of confusion with the blueprints and the casting and stuff. So if we select, say in this case it's a boat mount, and we edit the boat mount on the top right, you can do that by just clicking on the top right. Let's open this screen up, and where it says cast to your character, it's making sure that it is picking up the third person character. And it says cast to your character because this is not always going to be used on a third person template. For instance, if you migrate it to a first person template, or in some custom templates like my RPG kit, you're not casting to your third person character. This mount will not work if it's not locating your character class. It could be player BP, it could be first person character, it could be quite a few other things. So it's casting multiple times. This was made before I knew how to use tags and stuff, which is why this is a free asset on the marketplace. And also on the boat exit. Right here, it's doing the same thing. I didn't know how to use tags at the time, so I casted to stuff. I am very guilty of that. Like right here, it's checking for the boat ride. You're supposed to be casting to the boat ride. It's checking for the boat ride class before it follows through with any other functions, and that's the entire purpose of it. Another thing that came up is documentation. There is documentation on here that explains most things, such as where the land mount exit is, the purpose of it. It explains camera fades, it explains visibility and animations and stuff like that pretty much repeatedly on every single mount. Like right here, this is a common thing. It tells you how to change your camera fades from alpha to alpha. It's going to tell you the time. It tells you what color you can change it to and the duration. In this case, it's defaulted at 3 seconds. It says the same thing on the flying mount. Right here on camera fades. On the flight master, it has camera fades. On the vehicle mount, it has camera fades. And on the land mount, repeatedly, it goes over camera fades. So it should, if this does not cover it, it's a variable within here that pretty well explains what's going on. Another thing was that there is not ground mounts with a spline. This is a ground mount with a spline. The only difference is that there is a mesh attached to the spline here, and you can actually remove that by going right here and highlighting this and just setting clear. Compile and save. Now you have a ground mount with a spline. Let's reverse that. If you didn't know what I did, I held down Control and hit Z. That's how you work backwards, undo things. So another thing was people couldn't figure out how to get out of the ground mount. So once again, over here in the documentation, if we go to land mount, this needs to be renamed. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. To ground mount. if you go to this tab and you scroll down, it's going to tell you how to use this mount. There is the land mount itself and an exit for the land mount. It tells you basically all the same stuff all over again. Oh, that's probably some of the confusion. Land mount, ground mount, what's it called in here? Oh, it's called land mount. So let's change that right back to land mount. If I can spell correctly. So to exit your land mount, let's run over to the land mount, get on the land mount, and you run over to the land mount exit. And that's how you get off of the land mount. Alternatively, if you would like a land mount with a spline, you can 100% use the flying mount and just change out the mesh. Let's do that right quick. You can use this, mounts and vehicles. Let's do... It's been a while since I worked in here. Let's use a flying mount. Let's drag it out. And just for the sake of this tutorial, let's edit it. Go over to your viewport right here. Select your mesh. Your mesh is like your character. In this case, it's the skeletal mesh of the flying mount. And let's change the mesh to wolf skeletal mesh. Zero that out so it's facing the right way. This is not using the right material. The material is what wraps the wolf. The color of it, let's just use that Unreal color. Compile and save. So now we have repurposed the flying mount into a ground mount with that mesh. Let's just drag it forward a little bit. And then you pull that same exit, the flying mount exit, over here. Drag it back and up a little bit to avoid spawning problems. Let's give it a whirl. I'm going to use the Flight Master because I'm lazy. To land mount. I guess it would have been faster to just run over here to test it. Or I could have built it closer to the spawn point. Either way. Oh, it changed to the bird. So what's happening there Yeah, I see it. Remove from parent, flight master. And that is part of the casting problem. This is why it should be using tags. It's the flight master. I'll get into that later. For now, this is what's going on with the flying mount. If we go in there and we change it, so there's two animations that are always showing. This is where it's a camera fade. This is changing the animations on start. There's two meshes. So on flying, highlight flying. This is in motion. And let's make it visible. That's what happened there. So let's go ahead and keep it visible for a second. Animation, eagle mesh. Let's use the wolf. Oops. We don't want that. We want wolf walking. We're going to zero that out from 90. And we're going to use the same thing again. Then we're going to go back up to visible. Search for it up here in the details. And make it invisible. So what's happening when you start is the first things is on the event tick, if the vehicle is not reset, then it's going to start this. What it's doing is making those two animations. One is visible, one is not visible. And when it's done, it's going to do the same thing, but in reverse. When it sends it back to start, it's changing the movement visible and the idle visible. And to change the camera fade time, let's change it to 1 second for whatever reason. Just like that. On the camera fade, on duration, you change it from a 3 to a 1. If you want it faster, and if you want it slower, just change the time up. To change the sound, let's use wolf howl, and while it's playing, highlight this, add audio component, and let's do wolf run. Seems more difficult than it needs to be, but it's really not. It's just a couple variables that you have to change. And let's duplicate. Let's try and get this glitch to work again. I'm pretty sure I fixed this to minecart. I'm pretty sure I know what that issue is. It was fixed on the RPG template, but I've moved so far past that I don't remember exactly what it was. And it's that simple. You've got now, that's it. Let's get back to that in a second, because that actually does need to be updated. I don't like bugs on my projects. So the last thing that you need to do is grab the camera component and move it up. And now it looks like you're actually on the wolf. So, oh, it's the widget. Remove from parent. I remember this. This is the widget issue. Yep. So, oh, I added a bool. If I remember correctly, I did add a bool. So let's fix this right quick, because this is bothering me, and this actually does need to be updated, even though this is a free product. Let's do... I think I fixed it like this. Go to variables, add a variable, and is in lowercase, width open. And then we're going to hold down B, as in boy, left click, and now you have a branch. And do that twice, once top and once on the bottom. Pull out is width open, hook it up to both of those branches, and then use control and relocate this wire for now. Go back over to here, drag out is width open, and this is where the flight path is being bound. So we're going to say yes, the widget is open. This is where we are removing from parent with the mouse cursor. And at the end of this, we're going to say no, it's no longer open. So pull this in, and on here, if it's not open, we want to open it. And on here, if it is open, then we want to close it. And I think that's how I fixed it last time. Let's give it a try. I'm sorry about this, guys. This actually is something that I'm going to fix on here, because it's not acceptable to have errors like that. Now we're flying away. That's one thing I will not tolerate, even on free products. So we're done. No errors. All is fine and dandy. Let's stress test it just a little bit. Away, close, away, close, exit, to land mount. And no errors. Okay, so I'm gonna fix that on a fresh version and roll out an update ASAP Rocky. So another thing that we can cover right quick is the third-person character camera. Some people don't like that it goes to first person, as if you're writing the mount or traveling in the mount. So let's do that right quick. Let's use the minecart ride. This is a construction script. We don't need that. We do, however, need the viewport. We need camera. Just delete it. And we need BP third person character. On the third person character, select your camera, camera boom, hold down Control, left click on follow camera. Copy it, go to your vehicle ride, click on cart right here, because we don't want it to stay at one spot. We don't want it to be bound to the mesh, the rails. We want it bound to the cart. Click paste. And just for good measure, drag it up to cart and parent it to cart. Parent the camera to the spring arm if it didn't already. Highlight your spring arm and pull it up. So if you decide to do a third person camera on here, I'm going to use the Flight Master because there was another error while I was beta testing, and I want to see if I can duplicate it again. I think I know what it is. But just for good measure. So if we go over to the minecart now, we have our third person camera, but this is going to open up some other problems. For instance, there's no character in that minecart. Now it's just an empty minecart riding around. Now you're going to need a socket, or you're going to need a mesh, a skeletal mesh to put on there and set visible and stuff like that. So a way to fix that is to go to the cart itself, add skeletal mesh. Oops, what am I doing? Skeletal mesh. Make absolutely sure it is parented to the cart. And the skeletal mesh that we're going to use is Mani Simple. We're going to rotate him 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees. And the animation blueprint we're going to use is, let's use animation asset, see if there's something we can use. Is there a crouch? I don't think there's a crouch we can use. No, we can't use that. There's no crouch, squat. Let's just use idle for now. Compile and save. And then you're going to have to go into your event graph. You're going to have to set visibility, just like with the flying mounts and stuff like that. That's a camera fade. That's a camera fade. That's what we need right there. Right click, copy. This is in the flying mount that we've been butchering. Now we're going to use it right here. If it's, I think this is where it was at. We're going to swap out that skeletal mesh with this one. We're going to swap out that skeletal mesh with this one. And then, where did we tie in the reset at? Hold down S, left click to add a sequence. This is going to be off of the faults. Alt, left click on the true to stop that. Plug in 0 to the set visibility. That should be all good and well. And where did we tie in? If there is motion, then I believe. Just paste it here. And plug it in. Damn it. Ooh, I don't. Darn it. I hope I don't get demonetized for that. Compile and save. Oops. Wrong mesh. Grab your skeletal mesh. Replace those two. Deleter. Do a big old deleter. Let's try and get that error to pop back up on the way over there. So in theory, when we get to the minecart, Manny should be hidden. And then when we start moving, he will be unhidden. He is not hidden. And I know exactly why. Yeah, it's that remove widget function. It's this. I forget how I did this last time. So, where are we at? Vehicle ride. Viewport. Visibility. He is not visible right now. Oh my gosh, this is going on 30 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. There's just some very odd reviews. I kind of regret making this free. It's just stuff that is covered repeatedly that isn't sinking in. So I wanted to make another video of this. And now, if we go to the minecart... Oh, he's not moving with the minecart. He must not be parented with that mesh. Skeletal mesh is parented to the cart. Compile, save. And now you have a character in the cart running around moving. Manny is cruising on this minecart ride. There you go. That's another thing solved. So now that that's done, let's take a look. This is gonna drive me nuts. This has to be fixed. So what's going on here? What am I doing wrong? Let's try promote to variable. Widget ref. That must be added to viewport. And let's grab that widget ref and set it right here. Who is texting me at 10 o'clock at night? This is my time. This is my dev time. Don't do it. That should fix it, in theory. Oops, wrong way. I'm gonna check my text messages while we ride around. Alrighty. Error, error, no error. Cool, that fixed it. There was also another one that I wanted to, while we're doing debugging and stuff in this video. It had to do with casting. When you run the land mount into the flying mount, it throws an error. I think that was actually fixed already. But let's check it out. Let's go to the exit. Nope, that was fixed. Cool, everything is fixed. Edit flight master. So we need to do these on a branch. Set the variable when it's open and close it when it's closed. Use a widget ref. That's what the issue was. It was trying to remove a widget that was dead. It was not being fired off. Compile and save. So that pretty well covers this. One thing, like the camera and adding the skeletal mesh, was kind of a custom feature. Hopefully this helps other people, and if there's anything at all that needs a further breakdown, feel free to reach out, especially on Discord. I'd love to see the Discord more active. And just another tidbit while we're here, if we edit the vehicle mount, you can 100% get the speed. Oh, it's already exposed on spawn with the vehicle reset. So you can do everything out in the editor if you want. Yep. Alrighty. I hope this was helpful. Our flying mount is now a running wolf through the sky, but that's alright. We have learned how to change out the meshes once again. We have learned about the camera fades, which are clearly labeled. Right here. And right here. We have changed how long it takes to... Oh, let's make it fade to pink. It's that simple. You just change a variable, and now you got a pink camera fade. So I think that pretty well covers everything that people were confused about. The documentation is helpful. Player input I wouldn't touch that, especially if you're having problems with like camera fades and changing out meshes and stuff. Definitely don't change the player input. What else? This one is upset because it's not a mount system. Very clearly is. And we covered everything. I'm the dev and I decide if we wide the dwagon. I think that covers pretty well everything for now, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.